Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. If you like listening to us chat about CrossFit news and everything that's going on in the sport, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. On today's show, we have sports analyst Derek Forrest and an OG CrossFitter, Team Games athlete, and now advancing to a semifinal as an individual after his 89th place finish in quarterfinals, Dex Hopkins. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty well. I'm actually a few weeks away from moving, so all the packing and all that stuff is
Ooh.
going on my end now. So,
Are you living in boxes behind you?
not yet, not yet. That will come like a week and a half out, but the planning has started.
So Derek's in quarterfinals too, the packing and moving. I'm doing a lot of sitting down. That's why
Yeah,
I'm glad
how's your body feel?
Yeah, like it's 33 years old and did a solid job at quarterfinals. Yeah, we and 89th in climbing. If these little penalties keep coming down, it was 100th, and then the next day it was 89th. So who knows?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, oldest guy to semifinal this year. I'm going to check that stat for sure. So yeah, I feel good though. It was a good time.
All right, are you guys ready? I mean, the leaderboard, it keeps changing so much. Right now, we're recording on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So who knows what it could look like tomorrow when this comes out. But we're going to be chatting about the leaderboard standouts heading into semifinals. I'll have you each pick two athletes from the men's side, two athletes from the women's side, and then one surprise on each side. So Dex, besides using yourself as a pick, who are your two male standouts?
My two guys, without going insane, and they're from a hometown camp. I'm a brute coach, so man, I really like Phil Toon this year. Just made a huge push, and Matt Torres has been on a podcast previously, just saying the upside and the kind of impact of the experiences he's getting now is going to be a huge deal. I mean, swings a big stick with the barbell, and obviously capacity's way up. He looked great at Wadapalooza. And the atmosphere they have down there with him, James Sprague, Dallin Pepper. I want to say Roman's coming down to train 4 semis. That's kind of his next stop. So they're just going to have just dogfights on the daily. So there'll be a lot of opportunity to move the needle really fast. And my other one, my guy, Marquan Jones, 2 knees healthy this year. Looks great. Looks strong in the total. And obviously a really fit guy. 90th last year. What did he finish this year? I had it. That's my guy. He's way up and healthy, so I'm looking for Quan to make a push. He still did great at MAC last year, and we've hung out a lot this year and kind of done some competitions just as a temperature check together. Guy looks great. Looking for him to make a push. So yeah, those are my picks. We're gonna go the unusual suspects: Phil Toon and Quan.
Any surprises from either of them that you were shocked by once you saw like all of their scores from each workout?
So Quan's total's high. Quan's an old receiver. So I think if you played football at any point, you're sick of bench press because you get it crammed down your throat for 4 years in college. But you keep it in your pocket. But knowing he had like last year a little knee issue, especially going into MAC, I think he was managing that and still ended up doing really well. And there's 2 big lifts in there. I want to say he cleaned as much as I did. And then I think he beat me in the overhead squat. Yeah. So that's a good one. I mean, Quan's condition, man, I think the higher the skill level and honestly, the longer the time domain, the better he does. So some of those workouts, the shuttle run was a good one for him. And technical things, he's a really good mover and attention to detail guy. So that was, he was really consistent. The lifts are what stood out to me. It's just because that's an indicator for him that his, both wheels are spinning knee wise. So that was exciting for me to see.
Derek, who are your 2 male standouts?
So you're going to force me to pick 2 because I always cheat. I have more than 2. But
I know you always have an extended list.
That's what,
I
didn't
for sure.
narrow those down.
For sure.
You gotta pick
for
2
sure.
this time.
For sure. But the news side of me, I'm always looking at storylines and things like that. So for me, the storyline version in this one is Roman Krenikov sitting in 12th. And, this is a guy who has not had the best of luck in terms of being able to come over to the US and compete at the games. And he's always been a guy that, we said if he's ever at the games, he could push to help fight that spot for Matt Fraser when Fraser was competing, and now maybe can knock off and take some points away from Justin Medeiros. But You look at what
Mhm.
Roman's able to do. Luckily, was able to get here before obviously all the craziness going on over in Russia and things like that. But I saw him at Dubai and what he was able to do. Obviously, won the Dubai CrossFit Championship, but to be sitting in 12th after all these years of seeing him kind of dominate um over in Asia, like to actually see it and to know that he's going to be at the games potentially, depending on how he does at the semifinals. Like I love just watching to see what he does and to sit into 12th right now. I mean, and we know it's tough to compare the leaderboard because there are some people who are going 100% and there's some people going 80% and there's some people, you know what I mean? They're doing what they need to do to get to that next round.
Mhm.
But Krenikov continues to turn heads, and he's going to be a force to watch at the semifinals wherever he's at, and then at the game. So he's my first one in terms of storyline because this is just something we've been watching for years, and to see it actually play out this year has been outstanding. The other one that I like to see, just because this is a guy that has podium potential every year, but seems to fall off right at that last second. Chandler Smith sitting in 4th. I love to see Chandler, to see where he's at. Um, and you look at the criticism, quote unquote, I'll call it criticism, that CFNE has been taken with their athletes. And does Ben still have it? And well, all this stuff. Chandler trains under Ben Bergeron, and he's just crushing it. And the way he did it to be able to do all these workouts so quickly over the weekend. I think he did it in like one day.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
all
just to say,
5.
Yeah.
That's
My man had a
crazy.
wedding to go to. Okay,
just,
so
just,
my man had some
just,
dancing to do.
just
Dex, did you
decided to.
ever consider doing all 5 in one day?
So I did 8 over the few days. Just let me double
Oh
taste some of
man.
them.
Oh my
But
god.
so I went and did the last open workout at CFNE with them, which was oddly nostalgic.
Cool.
I've never been there, but I used to be competitors WOD athlete and stuff like that. So I knew a lot of the people. And Chandler's, like my brother. And yeah, they have an awesome environment. It's very close knit. It's a very small kind of tribe. But yeah, man, it's gonna be an exciting year for all those people. Sydney, it's an M word, and I don't want to butcher her last name. She's from Canada, but she moved up there. She's gonna make noise this year. Of course, Amanda Barnhart's just perennial monster. But I mean, the whole camp looks good, kind of top down to me. These were also like really good workouts for him. I could see these coming out and him, licking the chops like it's his favorite flavor, icy from the gas station. So, but yeah, he had a great start, man, and that's my guy. I want to see him do awesome, and he's set up to. So, and he just got engaged. Congrats to my man, him and Jesse.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, those were ballpark for him, or those were heaters down the middle, and he'll swing.
Derek, seeing him 4th overall, did that surprise you at all? Or because of the workouts, is this where, he should be and where you expected to see him?
No, it didn't surprise me. Well, top 5 is probably a surprise. I mean, I knew he'd be at least top 10, top 20. But I mean, Chandler's got it in him. He's always got it in him. It always seems to be like this one workout that always seems to sneak up on him where it kind of drops him out. And we saw that 2 years ago when he finished 6th at the games and didn't get to the actual finals that were held in at the ranch. So so no surprise at all. Chandler's a guy that again has that potential, and I just want to see it play out because he's one that for years could stand on top of the podium, and I think he deserves to be there.
And he's like a guy you want up there, right? Like he's a quality person, does things the right way. And I've never seen him interact with anybody in an event or even at the gym, man. That's what, I take a lot of kind of to heart of seeing like people I care about kind of flourish and flow through their life and have the things they want the way they want them. And like everybody coming in the gym, what's up, Chandler? I mean, you're going to class, you're coming to do the competitors workout with them, whatever it was. I stop and I've got 5-10 minutes for everybody to see how your mama and them are doing. So I think for sport wise, like, great for the sport for my, I mean, I wanted to do well because that's something that's really important to him, but man, for the sport, it would be awesome. I feel like, quality humans.
And the perception is, I mean, he doesn't take himself too seriously. You know what I mean? He's a character out there on the floor. So he's just the fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's great.
All right, Dex, we're going to move to the women's side. Who are your top 2 women pick standouts?
Well, I had to, and this was my favorite story to follow last year. Let me jump on Derek's bandwagon. Was Mal and Emma 2.0, which is kind of low hanging fruit. But I think I'm interested to see after kind of a transition with Mal what that's going to look like going from such a home run year last year, and then coming into this year with just 2 bangers out of the gate. And you've heard in the past Matt talk about, I didn't mean to win the Open. I mean, winners like winning. I mean, that sounds good, but and I appreciate the kind of story you're painting here. But visually, man, it looks like detail wise, they've cleaned up a lot with her. It looks like she's having fun. So that was a pick for me, and it was more so what's attached to it, right? Like I think Emma Carey going in, that's going to be a story for years, and I hate to see her go down with a back injury. I know that takes a lot of athletic maturity, but she's got a long career ahead of her. So, hope she heals up and has a good comeback next year. But I think that's going to be one. So that takes one of my picks out. Mal's one of them. The other one, the storyline also with Derek Kernstetter, man, watching Olivia Kernstetter do the things with load-wise with the lifts at 16 that, I mean, I've said before that I think the bridge from teen to elites, that bridge is a lot shorter now for some people. Because, you think the progression of strength is usually what takes people, right? I can acquire these skills, this coordination and these things, but putting on muscle mass, I'm getting coordination, I'm maturing into my body. That takes years, right? For some people. And we're seeing kids now, James Sprague, Dallin Pepper, people like that are making the jump seamlessly. And Dallin's one of the stronger guys. And this girl is, I watched her clean 250. She's 16.
Like,
She's 16.
what?
She watches
She
Saturday
just
morning
turned 16.
cartoons. She still watches Saturday morning cartoons. Has to. And you got to think who's around her. She's at Jacob Hedman's gym, who is just notorious, insane motor. And she's bringing in a prereq strength that, Jacob would have sacrificed a kitten to have to pair with his motor skills, or just the motor he had. So, her having that pour into him, and I know they have fun. He keeps it light, a lot like you were talking about Chandler does. So they have a good time, and I think that's really important for something that just in itself is so heavy for a teenager. And it looks like they're having fun. I was around her at Wadapalooza, had an athlete in her division. She is very 3-2-1 go Terminator. But other than that, man, she's there to have fun, which is awesome to see. You got the tools you have, and they go and express it. And she is it's a hell of an expression right now. So I'm looking for her to come in and make some adult noise, not teenage noise. So that's my 2, Mal and Olivia Kernstetter, and that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, the beauty about Olivia, and this is why I have a long extended list, because she was one of my surprises. Yes. But I have another one. But anyways, going back to Olivia real quick, the thing that separates her from some of the other teens, like outside of Mal, we'll say, and maybe Emma Lawson, it's her strength numbers. At 16 years old, what she finished 18th in the other total.
Bro, that separates her from some grown women.
Like, that's outstanding. Like, you talk about the comparison, because right now she's slowly being compared to like Haley Adams. But that's something that Haley still doesn't have, is the strength.
It's always the other end for the ladies, right? Traditionally, they come in with the range and the and the capacity, and then I think where it used to be like rope climbs and muscle ups now, but like there's not been many that come in as a teenage girl that are just country strong. And
she PRs like every single week on a lift.
I don't know what they're feeding her. It must be the ice pops that it's the good ice pops.
For sure.
It's got to be the good
nutrition.
Fueled by icy pops.
Hit her up.
All right. So for my women, I will go with another teenager. I have Emma Lawson sitting at 10th. I believe she's still sitting at 10th in the leaderboard. It might have changed in the last 5 minutes.
She might have moved up. Yeah.
But it's another great. But and look at her numbers, right? 164th in the other total. It's the strength portion for the teens that usually kind of drops, where Olivia's like rising. But
one in that event.
Yeah. But she takes event 1, and Emma. I got to meet her and talk to her at the Open this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's still, what is she going to do? Is she going to compete as an individual? Is she going to compete as a team this year? We still really don't know, right? But but she's won again, sitting in 10th at 17.
That
Like
is.
like we thought last year with Mal and Emma Carey that like those were outliers. Like, holy crap, we have these two teens that have just come up and are dominating. But that doesn't really happen. And now we're seeing that this is becoming a trend. We just finished talking about Olivia. We're talking about Emma. There are some other teens that, you know, are sitting here in the top 50, top 100, especially on the women's side. So I think Emma can come in and make some noise, and she's slowly building that experience, right? She's slowly building that experience of competing live. She's slowly building that experience of competing at the open and in front of crowds and things like that. So as she continues to get those reps under her belt, I mean, she's going to be a force to reckon with. But that's definitely someone I've been watching. And then the other one's Cara Saunders on the other end. You know,
Let's go.
Cara's been in the game for a long time, and she's sitting in third. And, you know, she had the mishap last year where, you know, she wasn't able to compete at the games, and she's looking for that comeback. I mean, the last time someone competed with Tia Claire Toomey head to head was Cara Saunders.
Yeah.
And what was that, 2018, 2017,
17, yeah.
2017? So I mean, she's always got the numbers. Her strength numbers are still there. She's always been known for that. She finished fourth in workout 4, and the other numbers are sitting right there. I mean, there might be a disparity here between Tia and Cara now, but I mean, we all know that once you get to semifinals and you get to the games, it's a completely different ball game. And
Right.
I'd be curious to see how far that separation is between those two again when they go head to head.
Well, she's like a notorious gamer also, right? Like a live show gamer. And I had, you know, was super fortunate to get to hang out and kind of, again, loosely coach, kind of fill in for Nick Fowler last year with her. And I, you know, she looked great. Obviously everybody's jacked at the games, but she was like, man, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. My body feels amazing. And I literally just can't breathe, because she was on that backside of COVID where you're kind of still got the junky, you know, I can't take a deep breath. And it broke my heart for her. And she went to the swim, and you could just visibly see it. Like, she'd start out hot, and she had about 2 minutes. And when that heart rate got up and she needed a big breath, she just, you know, couldn't do it yet. And it broke my heart for her, because I know how much you know, how hard it is to get over there. And even more so at the time, how hard it was to get back.
Yeah, she
you know,
was away
and
for, I think, 5 weeks in total
yeah,
between the 2 quarantines on back end.
yeah. And when you know, she switched to Mayhem this year. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But obviously, you know, she's one of those people, it doesn't matter if she was doing like main site plus a long walk every day. She's going to ball. She's got it in her. So I hope she's healthy, man. And I would love, like Derek's saying, like, she's one of my favorite ones to watch every year, because no one is safe if she is healthy.
Nobody.
No one.
And especially when I spoke to her recently, she even said that she plans to have her family, her daughter, there at the games. So I think that would even give her a better headspace when she's there, instead of knowing that she's like away from her family and daughter for 5 weeks.
That's heavy. And I mean, Maddie and Scotty are, they're a great time. I've gotten to spend some time with just the kind of whole family. And you can see Scotty on Instagram, they are a time.
Adorable.
And I have girls, and I know being away from them for any, you know, day or two is rough. So I can't imagine having to do that. And having them there is probably going to be, you know, a little bit of a superpower, keep her calm. So that's going to be.
We saw how it affected Annie at the games.
Yeah.
So
sure.
it kind of reined her in, you know what I mean? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
All right, guys, now we are going to move to a surprise athlete on the men and women's side headed to semifinals. Dex, let's start with you. Who are your two?
My surprise two?
Yeah.
For the fellas, it's and as people slide, and I'm gonna try to go down so we don't you know, get the same usual suspect. Well, that's not true. I'm gonna say Guy. So my surprise with Guy was, we know the kid can lift. And you know, that's going to be cool. We're going to get a dab, but for him to be in second on these workouts that were wildly capacity heavy, I am not surprised he's doing well, but I'm very surprised at the ones he's crushing. I mean, he was oddly, you know, a 16 in the total, and be honest, I think somebody cut him off.
Oh, for sure. Those
sure.
looked way too easy.
Chase hit it on the head the last show. It looked like an 80% effort, and somebody's like, okay, good. You're good. Cut it. But I'm very interested to see what being around those guys and him developing that motor in a fun I mean, he's a fun guy in general. I think I'm a big fan of bad guys. So, Guy's low hanging fruit. I'm very pleased that Ricky Garrard is sitting in 11th. I think if we need a Batman, we also need a Bane. We also need the Joker. And I want to see, there's never been a comeback. That's never been the story, right? Like if somebody gets booted, oh man, 4 years out or however many years out, you're done with your career. But look great in Dubai. I'm certain they're probably knocking on his door every other day to test him. I would hope, just to make it legit. But look good at Dubai, and I mean doing well through. Right, he's right ahead of Roman, which I would not have expected. So, I hope it's a pleasant surprise, and I hope that he keeps the swag about it. Like the humble stuff is cool, but like, come on, bud. You're gonna
you want to see some smack talking.
Well, you're not necessarily smack talking, but you're gonna get it anyway. Like they're gonna you're the villain already. Like you don't have to put the cape on, but let's put the Bane mask on or something. Let's go crazy.
Maybe he's waiting for the games to unleash that.
I can dig that.
He still has to continue to prove himself until he gets back.
Oh, when he was last
year, to the big show.
Was it quarterfinals that he was like beating Matt scores and then like running up to the camera? Like,
oh yeah,
I love that. Like, I love the sport endlessly, and I've said a million times, it's like the sport of nice guys. Like every sport has.
Oh right.
Every sport has an Antonio Brown or what's the guy that was killing people over the middle? Burfict, the linebacker. Every sport has a bad guy. Everyone. Except this one. And I blame Rich, and I love Rich. But, like, we can all be friends after, but out here we can be killers, and that's fine. But, yeah, so big fan of having a bad guy and, like, a legitimate story. Like, oh, man, you cheated, and you absolutely got caught red-handed, and then you came back and were smacking people around. That'd be cool, especially if all his videos get approved, which is a real roll of the dice right now. So, yeah, I'm excited to see those two people. Guy's gonna be nuts. Ricky being – like coming back, that would be, very cool to have a comeback story from was a cheater, came back and let everybody know.
Yeah. By the way, how did he get 2? We're supposed to have 1. You were very strict about the rules learned, and then no.
Oh yeah. Well,
that's okay. Two overall. That's fine.
It's our extended list, Derek.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time.
Okay, Derek, let's see your 10 people on the list.
Because she knows there's 10.
So there were 3 on the list.
Okay, we'll let you show all 3.
No. Guy was one of them, so I won't even talk about him. But honestly, the biggest surprise, if we're actually taking it by the word surprise, Tudor Magda.
Oh,
is a surprise.
That's a good one.
Sitting in 33rd, 19 years old. Here's another teen, right? 19 years old. But you look at what he's been able to do over the last couple of years. I believe last year in the Open, he was like 1400th and something. This year, he takes the 70th. 2-time teens champion. And the best part about his numbers, when you look at his workouts, I mean, he trains under James Townsend. And you can obviously tell when you look at the workouts, especially the strength workouts, we know how strong James is. But to be sitting in 33rd, it's a guy that from the individual side we haven't really talked about much. Obviously, being a 2-time teens champion, like people know of him, but to be under James now and to be doing what he's able to do, that was a surprise for me, but a good surprise to see that he's going to be able to hang with the big boys potentially when we get to semifinals. It'll be curious to see. So that's my actual surprise.
Oh, he claimed 372.
Surprise.
He claimed 372 and smoked it.
Yeah.
See, I wish they put the actual numbers up there. The total's cool, but
when we were talking to Chase, he said that CrossFit was trying to do that and they wanted to do it, but just like the time that it was going to take to build that into the website. They just like didn't have the capacity for people working on it. But I do hope that in the future they go back and I guess you can't.
Oh, there's no way. Yeah, that's how you had to input
when you logged it in. You just you didn't.
Which was really weird, man. The way they had people put that in, like for your, now everybody's 45-pound bar is 44. We found out,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't have to do it for the last workout. Like it was.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
it's the weirdest thing to
Yeah,
me.
you're
So,
right.
but so Tudor last year, I spent time with them at West Coast, him, James, and Dallin when he was with Matt Torres. And then people don't know this, man. The kid had an asthma attack during the snatch ladder, and then he finished it.
Oh my God.
Like he's got it in him. I think being around James and he's not isolated. He's got some training partners there. And James is a real kind of common energy, and he's very straightforward about, mental approach and things like that. And Tudor's got a really good team around him. And obviously, right, I mean, kid smoked 272, and he's a strong guy at baseline. But, I mean, he was crazy consistent. I mean, what was that? 2 was his worst, or 3 was his worst finish, which I think shuttle runs being such a new – calling it a skill is kind of weird, just a nuanced thing, the way to get running into the online qualifiers, which I appreciate. I don't want to say it's a toss out because it's so different. Nobody knew how to pace it. But yeah, he's going to have an exciting year, man. That's a big jump for him mentally. I think if he can keep it, kind of the singular focus and stay locked into it, he's going to have an opportunity to have a big year. Just know what I mean. I could not believe I saw him last year because I was filling in for Matt. And so I'm at the finish line, and you can see him having an asthma attack. Takes a second, and then he hits 2 snatches at 265. I was like, I don't know if I'm hitting 2 and I feel good anymore, bud. But smoked him. So he's got killer in him. So it'll be exciting to see if that's been, fostered and developed a little more over the last year, and he'll make a big push.
All right, Derek, who's your second pick? Your surprise.
I mean, it's just the fact that this guy's going to compete at the games, and he said he wasn't, and it's Scott Panchik sitting in 6th.
Smoke and mirror, Scott.
So I mean, I get it because they're, Chris D'Eramo is up there, but the thing that drives Scott to me, with talking with him, I've talked with him a ton, is his brothers, right? He loves competing with his brothers. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as they continue to push him, he's going to go, hey, you guys want to compete at semifinals? All right, let's throw down. And then he's going to be like, wait a minute, I just qualified for the games.
Oops.
I guess we're all going.
I got this email, guys. Oops.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I don't know. I'm torn on whether or not Scott's actually going to do it. But like I said, that camaraderie he has with his brothers, Saxon and Spencer, like I find it hard for him to be able to like push off that FOMO of like competing with his brothers.
Is it the FOMO?
And I think
somebody's got to be the big brother. You can't beat me yet. Not yet.
Got to lay down the law.
There may be some ego in that. Do I honestly think that Scott's done with competing at the games in that sense? Yes, but it's the competing with his brothers that I don't think he can leave yet. And I'll be curious to see what happens if he decides to compete at semifinals.
He's still
and
good.
Especially like if all 3 of them qualify for the games, like the first time we see all 3 Panchik brothers, I don't think that he would say no to an opportunity.
No way.
Like that.
Well, this is the first time, because it's not the first time we've seen it tried to be done, right? Ben Smith, Alec, and Dane.
Yeah.
And I don't know where Dane is, but do a dad stuff probably. But yeah, man, it's not the first time. It's somebody's made an attempt, and I think Spencer came to Brute, Saxon's in Nashville, right? And that's what's crazy is they maintain that and they're spread out now. So that says a lot more about like that bond, right? Like they actually enjoy it. It's important to them. So would they all go to the same semifinal? Would you try? Do you spread out for that?
Then you eliminate one at semifinals potentially? That's
what you got. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, who said that last time? Chase? Was he like, does he throw it?
Yeah. That's what he said.
What if they podium and it's like an all Panchik podium? That's a T-shirt.
That would be a dream.
Is a T-shirt.
Honestly, I would love to see that.
That's a bar. Yeah, that would be insane. Well, he's no slouch, man. He's how old is Scott now? 34. So he's on the way to be able to. I don't think he'll, want to do the age group stuff. I'm the opposite. I can't wait for 35. But yeah, they're both still really young, and they got time, man. And he's got a kid now. So, and that was kind of my thing this year is like, this is the first year I've tried to be competitive and have a little girl and have, when we have kids, and she came up and hugged me before one. I was like, oh, I get why this makes people crazy now. This is great. It's like gas on the fire. So, and then those, you don't get those experiences a lot when they still think you're cool and you can, a lot of the stuff when they're young is for you. So I can see that being a thing. But the brothers thing, man, I'm excited to see them work. Spencer had a strong showing. Saxon's, been running the show. I think Spencer's the only one that hasn't made it. Am I right or am I backwards? I have mixed them up before, but they're twins.
You're right.
It's all
Spencer
S's.
hasn't made it.
There we go.
Spencer
Okay.
has not made it.
There we go. And yeah, he works with Nick now, Nick Fowler with Brute. So that's a lot of people we were talked about from the camp. But it's going to be exciting. I love watching them go. And Scott, it's always fun to watch Scott because he gets fired up. I like the emotional athletes that finish and do the fist pump thing. Who's an old school one? Lindsay Valenzuela used to be my favorite. If you're real old into CrossFit, she used to finish and lose her mind. And so Scott's one of those people. Scott's a fist pump guy. So yeah, I'm excited for them.
Hey, Tom Brady retired and came back.
No, he didn't. No, he's trying to get Edelman. That's what that was.
So it's Panchik's time.
Yeah, I like that. I'm retired, guys. I've changed nothing, but I'm retired. Psych. See you tomorrow, nerds.
Derek, Dex, thank you guys so much for chatting with us. Some really cool picks. And, the storylines, they're just getting started. We're still early in the season. A lot to unfold.